Hello, thank you for coming to my video. If you would like to help my channel grow, please like and subscribe, and please click on this little bell icon so you never miss a future video. What's up everyone, welcome back to my Let's Play the Halo series. This time we are going to focus on the Master Chief Collection. In this video, we are basically going to get into the root of my love-hate relationship with the Xbox One console. So we pretty much played through all the campaigns already, or not played through them, but showing off the campaigns. So we're pretty much going to focus on the multiplayer. But just a quick overview of what the Master Chief Collection is. It's basically Halos 1, 2, 3, and 4 combined into a single game on the Xbox One console. Halo 1, Halo 2 have the anniversary editions where it has the updated textures. It has both campaign and online multiplayer, full HD, 60 frames per second. And it also includes Halo 3 ODST, which is actually a DLC. So, the game was originally released in time for the 10th anniversary of Halo 2. So it was essentially the Halo 2 anniversary game, which is why it has so much of a Halo 2 anniversary focus to it. They basically took the multiplayer of Halo 2 and remade it with their updated engine, which is pretty much based off of Halo 4. But they copied the gameplay almost exactly to what the original classic Halo 2 was, and they did a really good job. It was pretty much what Halo 1's anniversary should have been with that game. But a lot of criticism about this game when it came out, but I'm going to focus on the positives on it first before I dive into the criticisms, because I'm really going to dive into that. I was searching for a Halo 2 anniversary game real quick. But when the game works, which it's been pretty much fully patched now as of the last month or two, but when the game works, it's a good, enjoyable experience. It's it's any of the original Halos online. It's got Spartan Ops from Halo 4, online co-op campaign, all that kind of stuff. I mean, when they announced this game, it was almost like a dream come true, because it wasn't just, the original Halos in full HD 60 frames per second, but also Halo 1 online on the console. I mean, you could play Halo 1 online on the PC, but it really wasn't the same. It wasn't like, a console experience. So, I mean, that was pretty awesome. And before this game came out, right before I bought my Xbox One console, I was so excited. I basically took all my, this was before I was collecting video games. I took all my copies of Halo. Like, I had like 2 copies of Halo 1, a couple copies of Halo 2, 1 copy of Halo 3, copy of Halo 4. I think I kept ODST because it wasn't announced for this yet. They didn't announce that until later. My PC copy of Halo 1, my PC copy of Halo 2, I just traded them in. I'm like, well, this is coming out for Xbox One. I won't need these anymore. But is it gonna find a match? It's kind of early. Might not be a lot of people playing. We'll give it another minute and I'll try a different playlist. I was playing a different playlist earlier before I started recording. It was playing just fine. But oh, there we go. There we go. So, yeah, in terms of the Xbox One console, probably just start at the beginning. I mean, I kind of give the nutshell about why the game's good. When it's good, it's great. But it was a long road getting to Master Chief Collection actually working. So, when they originally unveiled the Xbox One console, I was not a fan of it at all. Because before the 2013, I believe it was, the 2013 E3, there's a lot of rumors going into that E3 that Sony and Microsoft's next console would have like always online DRM features, and the games you buy would be tied to your console, and just things like that. Turns out Microsoft went full force on it, to where the game would have to be, or the console would have to be connected online, and I believe it was like once every 24 hours it would have to be connected online to tie your games to your console. So you buy a game, you basically couldn't rent it, you couldn't let your friends borrow it, you couldn't buy a used version, just any of that. And they were supposed to have like some ways to have your friends share it, like if they were your friend and stuff like that, but it was just too stupid and too complicated. Especially coming after the 360, which, despite its Red Ring of Death issue, was actually a pretty good console. I mean, I loved it. I still do. And had a great library of games. God, I love the graphics in this. So good. Water effects and everything. Oh, water effects are just so cool looking in this map. But they announced the console. It would require the Kinect. It was $500. It had DRM. And it's like, okay, yay. I mean, the only game that they announced that I was interested in was Killer Instinct, and that was, for me, that was about it. Remember a lot of tech review sites and bloggers and that kind of stuff. I mean, they were like, oh yeah, well, the Microsoft fan base, they're still going to buy the system and blah blah, and like, no, they're probably not. I'm certainly not. I mean, my friends and I were talking, and I was telling them, hey, this thing's going to suck. I'm not going to buy it. I'll stick. I mean, I was perfectly happy playing with the Xbox 360, despite it being I don't know, 10-year-old console at the time, almost 9-year-old console. So, and then the next day at that E3, Sony unveils their PlayStation 4, and then toward the end they announced, if you buy a game, you can do whatever you want with it. You can trade it, you can buy a used copy, let your friends borrow it, and the crowd went nuts. And like, oh yeah, also it's going to be $100 cheaper than the Xbox One. I mean, they basically came out and just punched Microsoft in the mouth. And I remember calling my friends up and it's like, hey, you know, we should switch to PlayStation 4s. You know, Call of Duty's still going to come out on PlayStation 4 because, you know, we were pretty into Call of Duty at that time, you know, because, you know, this is Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 2, this is around that time. And they were apprehensive, which they never did buy PlayStation 4, and I never did either by that time. If my friends would have, I probably would have. But like, yeah, I'll probably still get the new Xbox, which they really weren't. They were just didn't really want to switch. But there was no way I was buying the Xbox One. I mean, and here's the other thing. It's like, let's say you bought both systems. And a lot of the tech gurus were talking about, oh yeah, the core audience will still buy the system. Like, well, let's say that's true. And then you buy both systems. Like, if I bought an Xbox One and PlayStation 4, and the Xbox One still had the DRM, and then all of a sudden a multi-platform game comes out, which version am I going to buy? And that's not even taking into account that the PlayStation 4 specs were just a little bit better. So, I mean, are you going to buy the one that's tied to your console forever? Or are you going to buy the one that, if you say you don't want to play it anymore, you can give it to your friend or trade it in at your local game shop? So, yeah, Microsoft had to pull a complete 180 and backtrack on that. And it was at the point to when the console launched, it needed a day one patch to disable a lot of those features, a lot of that DRM. So, and if you look at a video I did about a year and a half ago, I think it was, where Xbox Live was down, and then it came back up about a week later. Or I think I made the video after a week later after it came up. But a lot of my games were not running. They would boot back to the dashboard, but they would work perfectly fine if I unplugged the internet from my Xbox One. And I was so upset that I basically got rid of my console, and I had it in the video. It's like, well, I'm never buying any more games then. Which, of course, ended up getting another console, but we'll get into that. But yeah, I was actually surprised how many hits that video got, and still getting. It's still getting good amount of hits. But the head of the Xbox at the time, not Phil Spencer, the one before him. I mean, people were just crapping all over him. I remember an interview he did, I believe it was with Jeff Keighley, when he's like, "What about military service military service personnel that are stationed on like aircraft carriers and submarines and things like that? Now they can't play your console because they can't connect online." Oh my God, we got worked. It's like, oh, well, basically just buy a 360 then. It's like, oh, that's what you're going to tell your audience? Just buy a 360? Oh, no, not that. So, yeah, they pulled a backtrack. They pulled a 180. They lifted all the DRM. I remember one host on one of the tech shows on the Twit network, the This Week in Tech network. They, Tom something, I don't know, he's a little weasel. But just crapping on the decision, like this is the future, always online, and now these people are screaming, now they're getting their way, and this is the future. I'm like, no, you're an idiot. It's not the future if people aren't willing to pay money for it and buy it, if they're not selling it to their audience and saying, hey, here's the advantages of it. It's actually going to be amazing. Here's the amazing things you can do with it. So yeah, it wasn't the future, and it never would have been. So just what an idiot. But the system came out. It was $500. It was $100 more than the PlayStation 4. It had a good launch, and the reason why it had such a good launch compared to the predecessor, the 360, is because the consoles were available. I mean, the 360 had a shortage when it came out, and Xbox Ones, they were everywhere. So, yeah, of course it had a better launch than PlayStation 3. Or, not PlayStation, better than the, well, that too, actually. But better than the Xbox 360. But also, the PlayStation 4 still outsold it, and after a month, it was still difficult to find the PlayStation 4. I mean, they were hitting stores. They weren't selling on eBay for like $1,000 or anything. But you go to Costco or whatnot, and there'd be stacks of Xbox Ones and hardly any PlayStation 4s. So, PlayStation 4 got an early lead because Microsoft just pissed away their core audience and also the casual audience as well. And everyone switched to PlayStation 4 because of it. So, and I didn't buy either one. I just stuck with the Xbox 360. I mean, Destiny was coming out, and at the time, Destiny was looking promising, which, I kind of talked about a lot of that in my previous video of my thoughts when I ended up picking it up. But at the time, it looked really, really promising. And if my friends and I end up switching to PlayStation 4, we could get our new Halo experience on the PlayStation 4, and even if we stuck with the old consoles, didn't buy a new console, Destiny was still coming out on Xbox 360 and of course PlayStation 3. And it's too bad the Wii U wasn't a better console, because I think if the Wii U was a better console when it launched a year earlier, then it could have taken a lot more of that share as well. But if it had like better third-party support and all that kind of stuff. But eventually, the system had a price drop and dropped the Kinect. And then I look at the system like, okay, I'm still not going to buy it, but it kind of piques my interest a little bit. And the console sucked when it launched as well. I mean, it needed a lot of patches to make it a good console. I mean, I remember people complaining about the party system. You can like party up and do party chat as well. I don't remember the details, but I remember a lot of people complaining about it and they needed to patch it. Also, I remember the optical port on the back, the SPDIF port. Now most people get sound through HDMI, but not everyone. And I still use that optical port to run it through the back of my stereo, just because I only got so many HDMI ports on my stereo. And that optical port would only output 2-channel stereo, just left and right. It wouldn't do any type of surround sound or anything. And they had to patch that and fix that to get 5.1 digital and DTS. So, I mean, that was disappointing as well. But, you know, they eventually patched that stuff. They eventually fixed it. People playing? Oh, yeah, okay, we're playing. But they eventually patched that stuff, so the system was a little bit better. Oh, crap. I didn't realize that guy was there. But then they announced the Halo Master Chief Collection. And I remember there were rumors about it a little bit, and people were like, yeah, it's a pretty wishful thinking rumor. But, I mean, it had some decent sources and stuff behind it. But, you know, it's one of those things like, I'll believe it when I see it. But everyone kind of expected a Halo 2 anniversary because of the Halo 1 anniversary, which, despite its flaws with multiplayer, it was still a fun, successful game. And then they announced the Master Chief Collection, and people were like, oh my god, this is actually happening. And then all of a sudden it's like, alright, I'm sold. I'm sold on an Xbox One now. I mean, I'm going to wait till it comes out, but I'm sold. So, you know, called my friends up, and we were all looking forward to it. I bought my console a couple months earlier because Destiny was coming out. I'm like, well, if I'm going to play Destiny, I might as well play it on the better console. Well, better compared to 360. And when Master Chief Collection came out, my friends finally bought their console. And right away, one of my friends had problems with their console. Good friend of mine, he bought the Call of Duty Advanced Warfare Edition and took it home. Came with the Call of Duty Advanced Warfare code in, and he activated the code. While that was downloaded, he put a disc into his machine, and I don't remember if he bought a game to play or if it was like a Blu-ray movie. I want to say it was like a Blu-ray movie, to watch a movie while I was downloading the game. And it made this really bad grinding noise. It didn't ruin the disc, but the Blu-ray drive was obviously shot. I mean, he even like recorded the video of it to get the audio sound of how bad it was. So he had just bought it at Fred Meyer, so he took it back to Fred Meyer like not even an hour later, and they did not want to give him his money back or exchange the console because he used the code. And he called me up and he's like, "Hey, they don't want to exchange my console." I'm like, "What do you mean they don't want to? You just bought it." He goes, "Well, they said I used the code." I'm like, "Well, don't they have more of those bundles in stock?" And he goes, "Yeah, they got 3 more." I'm like, "Okay, why can't they grab one off the shelf and just exchange the code?" So they take the unused code and put that in the one you're exchanging. And he had to go through 5 managers to do that. Like, what kind of idiots do they have working at Fred Meyer? And usually our Fred Meyer in our hometown was, you know, pretty good. But after hearing that story, I will never buy a console at Fred Meyer ever again. And they said, "Oh, well, he thinks he's trying to pirate it." And I'm like, "No, he just wants a console exchanged." So, I mean, I used to work at Game Crazy, and if I was in that position, and I used to be in that position with DSs where people would need to return it and they forgot their charger. You know, you exchange it for the new one, you open it up, you take the charger, and you put the charger in the old box, so they're returning it with the new charger, or things like that. I mean, it's not that difficult. So, but yeah, he's got his console exchanged, took it home, and luckily the new one worked fine. So, my console didn't have issues. My other friend, which was his brother, he didn't have issues with his console. And we picked up our copies of Halo Master Chief Collection, and right away there was this, I forget how many gig patch, like 20 gigs or whatnot, which any patch over 20 gigs at the time was a huge patch, because at the time the biggest patch or installation for a game was like 8 or 9 gigs, you know, from the previous generation. And, you know, this is like, you know, Halo 4 having an install disk, or Battlefield, one of the Battlefields having a texture pack, or things like that. And we're thinking, I'm like, well, wait a minute, doesn't all 4 Halo games fit on a Blu-ray disc? Because, you know, Blu-ray disc is supposed to be, you know, 5 times bigger than DVD, or however, I don't remember how much it is off my head. So, you know, I didn't think too much of it, like, okay, we'll just wait for the patch, and finally got to play it. And the game was a buggy mess. It was just utter crap. Grab this sword real quick. And I remember watching a lot of videos and press conferences and demo videos and IGN interview where they're playing the game. The game looked and played perfectly fine based on like whatever review videos and things like that. I mean, it looked great, but they didn't have a beta test. Yeah, I'll take that sniper rifle. And they talked about all dedicated servers, which obviously didn't work. Oh, no scoping. Oh, you lucky son of a bitch. But yeah, I mean, the game was just a buggy mess. It was difficult to find a game. I mean, you couldn't even find a matchmaking game. I mean, you had to let it sit idle for about 10 minutes to finally find the game, and half the time it would crash or bug out. Like, even the single player story would crash and bug out. I mean, it was you know, just a horrible buggy mess. It was a huge disappointment, because this was the reason why we bought our Xbox One consoles. This game was the decision for us to jump on the Xbox One bandwagon. And and I remember, you know, getting some hate, like, oh, well, you bought a console for one game, oh, you're stupid, you're an idiot, whatnot. It's like, well, yeah, I bought a Super Nintendo. Well, I didn't buy one. My grandmother bought one because I was little at the time. Got a Super Nintendo because of Super Mario World. Bought a... let's see, what else my wife and I got a girlfriend at the time, but now my wife got a Wii U because of Super Mario Maker. I bought a Wii because of Mario Kart Mario Kart Wii. Not 7. 7 was the 3DS one. You know, there's tons of examples of me buying a console for a single game. Bought a PlayStation 3 because of Metal Gear Solid 4. You know, and then once you have that console, you buy other games for that console because that's the one that you own. So, but yeah, I mean, that was like the decision to buy an Xbox One, especially an Xbox One over a PlayStation 4. And there really wasn't much reason for me to jump on the new generation of consoles anyway. The only other game I was looking forward to coming out was Mortal Kombat X, and that was still announced for PlayStation 3 and 360 at the time. They hadn't canceled that yet. So, huge disappointment. I waited about, I want to say 2 weeks. And, oh, I thought he'd jump behind there. No, he did. Okay. Let's lob some grenades, see if we can take him out. Maybe that sword respawn. Probably not. It's probably too soon. But, I mean, Walmart's return policy at the time was, I think it was 15 days. I don't know if it's actually 15 days, but I was under the impression it was 15 days, because I went back on the 15th day, and I called them up first, and I said, hey, I bought a video game. The game is defective. It doesn't work. I want to exchange it, take my money back, or get my money back. Can I do that? And they said, yes. Despite what you think Walmart's policy is, despite what they've told you, they told me yes over the phone. So I said, okay, thanks. Went down to Walmart later that day and wanted my money back, and they did not want to give me a refund. And they said, well, we can exchange it for a new copy, but we cannot exchange an open game, or we cannot give you a refund on an open game because it violates copyright law, which, if anyone ever tells you that crap, they are lying through their teeth, or they don't know what they're talking about. There is no law on the books that says a retail establishment cannot give a refund on an open game because it breaks copyright law. The only reason they do that is because if someone were to abuse their return policy in order to pirate games, if someone actually pirated games and then returned the game and abused their return policy, Walmart or whoever might be held liable. So they do that as a way. They say that as a way to make it so they're not held liable in any way, which is fine. I understand that. Which, you know, just be truthful about it. It's like, hey, we don't We don't offer refunds on video games only exchanges for the same one because we might be accused as an accomplice for pirating. It's a legal precaution we take. That at least makes sense. So I had to go through a couple managers. I had to negotiate with them. I said, hey, look, I talked to them over the phone. They said they would. Also, this game is defective. Like, well, we can only exchange it for another one. I'm like, no, you don't understand. This game is defective. Like, every copy they have made is defective. It's all over online. They've admitted to it. So finally I got my refund back, and I got a copy of my return receipt. And then I went over to Costco, and I had my Xbox One boxed up. And I returned my Xbox One console at Costco, which Costco's return policy, with the exception of TVs, computers, camcorders, laptops, and one other thing I forgot off the top of my head. Their return policy is just stellar, top notch. So it's actually written into your contract when you have a Costco membership. So if you're not satisfied or if it's defective, you can get a refund. So with TVs, computers, and that kind of stuff, it's 90 days, but the rest of it, I believe it's lifetime. So, but I boxed it up and I told them, hey, here's why I'm returning it. The game I bought is defective and they haven't patched it, and it was the reason I bought the console. I'm not satisfied. I want my money back. They're like, okay, no problem. If you change your mind, we have new ones coming out over there with Assassin's Creed. Like, okay, great. But yeah, got a full refund on my Xbox One console at Costco. Got my refund on Master Chief Collection. Had my return receipts. I took a picture of them and I posted it all over Microsoft's social media, anything that I could out of protest, because I was so ticked off about it. And right away, especially on like the Halo Waypoint forums, I got called a hater, got called a troll, and just anything. Every once in a while, like 1 out of every 10 or 20 people, someone would agree with me. It's like, yeah, hey, you did the right decision. I'm trying to do the same thing myself. But other than that, everyone just absolutely hated me. It's like, oh, you're a loser, you're a troll, just wait for the patch. And I'm like, yeah, I waited 2 weeks for some kind of patch. It's nothing. If you buy a new product and it doesn't work as advertised, you should be getting your money back, because if they do not provide a working product they advertised, entitlement or not, that's a breach of contract on their end. So, and yeah, the funny thing was, after about another week or two, they had still not fixed the game. I don't remember if there was a little patch or not, but the game was not fixed. And I went back to the forum just to see kind of what the attitude was. And after a couple weeks, everyone was trying to return their game. Everyone was trying to get a refund on their digital copy. I remember a couple of people saying that I managed to actually get a refund, but it was really hard for them to do so. Oh, man. I just gave that guy the sword. But, yeah, everyone was trying to return the game. So it was just a buggy mess. So some people probably succeeded, but yeah, if the game... Eventually the game got a couple patches where it was a little more stable. The game was playable. At least the single player was playable after the first patch. I want to say it came out after about a month. Multiplayer was a little bit better. Still had issues. But I was avoiding it. I still had a digital copy of Halo Reach. The only thing is I was used to Call of Duty default style controls. Which, this one nice thing I really love about the Master Chief Collection, I loved it then, I love it now, is it has just a huge array of options for control schemes, including Universal Zoom and Shoot, which made its first appearance in a Halo game in Halo 4. It's basically the default Call of Duty control scheme. And you could apply it to every single Halo game in this. So, but when I went back to try to play Halo Reach, I was so used to this control scheme that I couldn't really play it and enjoy it like I did. But I had Destiny, and I played Destiny on the 360, went back to that. When I wanted my Halo fix, I would pop in Halo 4, which I had to go buy another used copy of Halo 4, which luckily they were being sold for $5 used at my local game shop. So that was kind of cool. That wasn't too big of a loss. But yeah, I mean, even though Halo 4 wasn't the traditional Halo experience, it was enough of a Halo experience to where between that and Destiny, I could still get my Halo fix. So that was good. If I really wanted to, I could have picked up another copy of Halo 1 on the PC. Which, you know, still had about 1,000 people playing by around that time. Ooh, let's try lob grenades up here. Nope, not up there. Okay. But eventually, after a little while, they patched the game again, so it was a little more playable. A lot of people, you know, were saying, "Hey, at least you can find a game to play now." And as an apology, because they had just announced the Halo ODST campaign for DLC, is anyone that had played the game within, I don't remember if it was within like the first month or whatever it was basically at launch and around launch, they would get that expansion for free. And they would also get a free month of Xbox Live. And also, as an apology to anyone that was still playing, is the Halo 2 map Relic, the anniversary version of that, which originally was supposed to be paid DLC, came out for free. So I saw that, and I'm like, all right, I'll give it another chance. I love how that dude went flying. Gave the console another chance. So bought a console, was on sale, was even cheaper. And went ahead and picked up the game, and I think the game was on sale digitally, like a really good price, like $20 or something like that. So I went ahead and just said, "Screw it! I'll try the game," and the game was enjoyable. It actually worked decent. It still had its issues, and this was around next year's holiday season when I was really enjoying it. And another thing I forgot to talk about is I did get to play the Halo 5 beta, which was part of the Master Chief Collection, which was actually far more stable than than any of the Halos in the Master Chief Collection. And it was in beta. So, I mean, that was some irony right there. But yeah, I mean, the Master Chief Collection matchmaking was, pretty good. You still had to wait, a couple of minutes every now and then to find a match. But it was at least playable. And the nice thing about it was they added a Halo 1 4v4 playlist. I'm like, well, this is really cool. Because they had multiple different playlists. They had a Big Team Battle playlist, a playlist for at least every game. But the Halo 1 playlist was 2v2 games. And they already had a Team Doubles playlist. So I'm like, all right, you already got a Team Doubles playlist. Why is Halo 1 limited to 2v2? The only way to play a 4v4 Halo 1 game online was to pick the Team Slayer game and hope that everyone would vote for a Halo 1 game if it actually popped up, which Halo 3 would almost win the vote every time. But they added a 4v4 Halo playlist, and it was like the most magical online Halo experience ever. So, and it was really good. It was over like Thanksgiving week and whatnot, so I enjoyed the game quite a bit. Well, then after about the week of Thanksgiving or a week later, they got rid of that playlist, which is like, well, that's stupid. Why would they get rid of the Halo 1 4v4 playlist? Get rid of the Halo 2v2 playlist. You already have that on Team Doubles. If I want to play 2v2, play Team Doubles. Because here's the problem with Halo 1 2v2 matchmaking. Is this game, the matchmaking on here, it doesn't... If someone were to quit, like let's say Lucoli on my team were to quit, it would be a 3-on-4 game. But matchmaking would not backfill that spot like it did with Halo 4 or like it does with Destiny or Call of Duty. And the matchmaking in this is just not set up for that because of how it works. So, and also, I mean, like if 3 people would leave and leave me alone, it's stuck with a 1-on-4 game, and then if I try and quit because, okay, it's 1-on-4, that's not fair, I get this message. You know, I get penalized for it, which is bullcrap. I mean, yeah, it's good to, you know, try to prevent people from quitting, but, you know, if everyone else quits or gets disconnected or whatnot, and I'm stuck in a lousy game, that's, you know, not really fair to the person that's stuck around. Well, with Halo 1, the 2v2 playlist, all it takes is one person to quit or get disconnected to ruin that game. And those games were at least 15 minutes long. So you're just sitting there for like 10 minutes just bored out of your freaking mind. With the 4v4 playlist, if one person quit, I'm like, okay, so it's 3-on-4. Yeah, but kind of sucks, but it's still not too bad. The game's still enjoyable and it's still playable. So I want to try Halo 2 Classic just for comparison. But yeah, I mean, they got rid of like my favorite matchmaking playlist. So right away the game just like, well, this sucks. So then I kind of backed away from playing Halo Master Chief Collection Online again. And that also because the holiday season was over, the population had died back down, and then you had trouble finding games in matchmaking again. So I started playing again right at that right time. We're like, oh, well, wow, everything's good, everything's great, everything's working. And then it was just because there was a slight population boost during the holiday season. So that was a huge bummer. I mean, even after that, I had a game where I finally talked one of my friends into playing, and we had a party of 3, and we sat here in matchmaking, like in lobby, searching for a game, and 45 minutes went by, and it wouldn't find anything. And this game had been out for about a couple of years at this point. I mean, I even had it on video and had it on Twitch, and I was still so pissed. But by this time, Halo Wars was backwards compatible, and I kept the Xbox One around because, like, okay, at least I can play some of my older games on it now. Because when Master Chief Collection was announced and when it came out, there was no backwards compatibility on the console. I mean, people didn't even think it was possible, and they ended up adding it later, which is one of the reasons why I kept coming back on the console, because I really like backwards compatibility on the console. It makes things much more convenient. So they added Halo Wars, so I ended up keeping the console around. It's pretty much one of the only major reasons I'd keep it. Also, being an Xbox Live member, I would get the 2 free games a month, so my game library was building up a little bit. I'm like, okay, you know, I guess I'll keep the console around. Halo 5 was not that fun, which I'll get into a Halo 5 video later. Still played Destiny, so I was able to play Destiny on it. Mortal Kombat X came out. That was really good, although I really liked Mortal Kombat 9 much better. But eventually I had that issue I was talking about with that earlier video about my games kicking me back to the dashboard, and the only way I could play them was to unplug the Ethernet. So by that time, I just got so fed up, and I boxed up the console, returned it to Costco, and I basically returned it out of protest. And actually, I mean, it was having issues, so it was a legitimate faulty claim. And I also remember trying to get a hold of Microsoft, like trying to call Microsoft tech support. As you know, it's like, hey, I'm having this issue with the Xbox One console, and I remember getting disconnected 3 times. And I tried my phone, I tried my wife's phone, if I remember correctly, but yeah, I mean, I kept getting disconnected, you know, be on hold for about 45 minutes, and having to leave a callback number just in case I had that problem again, and finally after the 3rd time getting disconnected, it's like, okay, screw it, I'm just going to return the console. You know, I'm tired of getting disconnected. They're over the phone tech support. It's just horrible. And it used to be great. Like original Xbox 360 days, their over the phone tech support was really good back then. I mean, I had great experiences back then, but now it's just horrible. I love the Easter egg. If it's right here, it's kind of a quick side note. Where's it at? Maybe it's on the other side. Somewhere behind one of these fences. Oh, rocket launcher. Yeah, in one of these fences, there's actually the Halo 1 pistol just sitting there that you cannot grab. But yeah, return the console because told him it was faulty, told him exactly what was wrong and everything. Like, okay, yeah. And I was done with that generation. I sticking with 360 because of me not buying the console at launch. I started buying more games on Steam. Newer games that were coming out. A little more into PC gaming at the time. Let's see, are there rockets on this map? I mean, I got rockets. I mean, the launcher, but I was wondering if there's spare rockets. This is a Hang 'em 2 version of Hang 'em High. Halo 2 version of Hang 'em High. But yeah, I mean, I stuck around. I stuck with the 360. We were playing Halo Wars still. I still loved Halo Wars. Went back to playing Black Ops 2. What else were we playing? I was done with Destiny at the time. But I mean, yeah, that was pretty much it. But as time went on, eventually what was happening was the multiplayer communities of the games I was playing were dying down. Black Ops 2 still has a decent multiplayer community, but the cheating on that game just got worse and worse and worse. You cannot find a game of Black Ops 2 nowadays without a 50% chance of the game, not actually more than that now, of the game being hacked or something. And of course, if I quit the game because I don't want to play with cheaters or anything like that, I'm the one that gets penalized for it. I've already been timed out for couldn't do matchmaking because I quit a game because people were cheating. Where's the logic behind that? Another reason I don't want to support Call of Duty anymore. I mean, the Blackout mode in Black Ops 4 is really good, but that's about it. But also, Halo Wars, which I love, the multiplayer community was dying in that because they had just made the Definitive Edition playable. Not playable, but originally the Definitive Edition of Halo Wars on the Xbox One, you can only get as a bonus for buying the Halo Wars 2. I don't remember if it was like the special edition or pre-order bonus or whatever it was. But they made it so you can buy it separately. And I had a huge list of free Xbox One games for being an Xbox Live Gold member. So I had this huge catalog of digital titles, which, still got, that's only like a fraction of them. I mean, it's got a ton of them. And backwards compatibility. A lot of games were backwards compatible at the time. And even more becoming backwards compatible every day. And my wife kind of talked me into it. And we ended up getting another Xbox One console because, wanted to play Halo Wars. So I gave in, and I gave the system another chance. And the only one they had in stock at Costco was the Xbox One X, or at least my local Costco. So I ended up buying that one. And they had a decent sale at the time. And after 29 days, exactly, the HDMI port on that console quit working. I did not have a 4K TV at the time. So I was still playing on a 1080p plasma. But yeah, I mean, the HDMI port wasn't working, so I tried to call Microsoft's tech support. I'm like, okay, maybe it's like a software setting, maybe it's like a software reset or something you can do. Which I looked it up online, did any kind of thing I could. I mean, switched the HDMI cables, held down the power button to turn it off, just anything. Wouldn't work. I think I was still getting sound, if I remember correctly. So I called Microsoft's tech support, couldn't even get a hold of anyone. Left the callback number and everything. So eventually I boxed it up, returned it, and I exchanged it for an Xbox One S. Which, after spending, over almost $500 for a Xbox One X console, I couldn't really justify spending that much money again when the first one was faulty. So I ended up getting an S, which, was more power efficient and that kind of thing. Ooh, ooh, give me that sword. Give me that sword. Well, these guys are right here. Oh, crap, he sees me. Damn, I was hoping to slice them all up. So I ended up sticking with the S. I mean, it was more of a power-efficient system and that kind of stuff. And the S is a good system. I mean, if you want an Xbox that has good reliability, good power requirements, won't raise your electric bill, that kind of stuff, get an S. It's nice and quiet. It's a nice, quiet system. So I ended up trading in the Xbox One S to my local game shop. There's nothing wrong with it, so I couldn't justify returning it to Costco. I mean, that would have been like the fourth returned console. So I couldn't do that because by that time I'd feel like, okay, I'm abusing the return policy, even though they would have did it and they wouldn't have cared. But I just couldn't do it out of good conscience. But I ended up trading it to my local game store that was in my hometown, and GameStop was doing a sale at the time where if you trade in your old console for an X, you get like an extra $100 credit. But considering my track record with faulty Xbox One consoles, I wanted to stick with buying it at Costco just in case I needed to return the X again. So I felt I waited a good amount of time for like another revision, like an internal revision that they don't really talk about, but kind of happens behind the scenes. So, but just in case, I spent the extra $75 and $100 or whatever it was, and got it at Costco, and now I'm playing on it now. So, I mean, when I played on like my small TV, like if my wife's using my big TV, it's only playing at 1080p or 720p, but the textures and games and stuff like PUBG still looks really, really good. But in 4K, like this game here supports 4K now and HDR and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's the Xbox One X. It's a good machine. It's not too bad. I haven't had any issues with this one like the last one. So it's just kind of this funny love-hate relationship that I've had with the console. And if it wasn't for backwards compatibility, I probably would have just stuck with the last gen, or probably would have stuck with a Nintendo Switch. Yeah, that's another thing, is when I returned the console after that video, the one where I said I'm never buying these games, never buying Xbox One stuff again. I used that money to buy a Nintendo Switch. So, and I still love the Nintendo Switch. So if it wasn't for backwards compatibility on the Xbox One console, unless the console was really cheap, I'd probably be sticking with the Nintendo Switch. And I don't think I would have got a PlayStation 4. I might have. But there's just not enough games that I'm interested in play to warrant buying the system. I mean, God of War and Spider-Man, which I'll get a system eventually and play those. But as of right now, wasn't that big of a deal. So, oh, and then PUBG was another reason I gave the system a chance, because my friends talked me into playing PUBG, and I had played PUBG because PUBG had just come out on the Xbox One console, and I was over at my friend's house, and he let me play the game, and they were really into it. So that's pretty much what got me to giving the console another chance. That and backwards compatibility. So, oh, surprise. So, I mean, if backwards compatibility was not on the system, I probably would have just played PUBG on my PC. Although it didn't have any kind of online crossplay. I probably would have just said, screw you guys, I'm not going to play with you guys now. I don't have the console. Unless one of you guys want to buy me the console. So, speak of the devil, there's one of them now. So, trying to remember anything else that I left out of my love-hate relationship story with Microsoft. I mean, honestly, if it wasn't for Phil Spencer, that brand would be dead. So whatever whatever that dude is making at Microsoft, he deserves double. So, definitely got a lot of respect for Phil Spencer. I'd love to just sit down and talk video games with him one day. Seems like a really cool dude. So. But my wife is happy because she gets to play a lot of her games, you know, like Dragon Age and whatnot. Witcher 3, she picked up Witcher 3, so she's happy she gets to play the Xbox One now. Yeah, that's probably another reason why I ended up going back to the system, because there are games that she really wanted to play. Happy wife, happy life. So. I mean, if all that stuff wasn't a factor, and if I had to recommend a system, I would still recommend the Xbox One over the PlayStation 4 because of, mainly because of backwards compatibility. But, I mean, you could buy an Xbox 360 for cheap, so you can buy a PlayStation 4 and Xbox 360. So, but I like the convenience of having everything in one console. So that's real nice. But Master Chief Collection, I mean, that was why I no longer buy any type of video game that requires a day one download of function. And I'm not talking about like a little patch to fix this little thing here or there. I mean, if a game that you buy, a sealed physical copy of a game that you buy, needs some kind of download, whether it's like a huge update because they couldn't get the content on the disc, or if it's a patch or whatever, I won't buy the game. There's very few exceptions. There are some exceptions, but for the most part, I won't buy the game. I refuse to buy them. I refuse to buy any physical game where it needs some kind of day one download to function, because do you really own that copy of the game? And you kind of don't. You know, it's like buying a book and it comes, you open up the pages and it contains the first half of the pages, but you have to download and print off the second half of the pages. So it's another reason why game preservation is so important. I mean, I'm not trying to encourage anyone to pirate or anything like that, but it's unfortunate. So I don't really buy digital too much, because, you know, it's like I bought this game digital when I gave the game another chance, and the game worked for a week, and then it was a buggy mess again, and I couldn't trade the game in. I was basically stuck with it. So I don't mind digital games on Game Pass. I actually love Game Pass because it's games as a service, not games that you purchase, and then, you know, once the rights to that expire, like if it's based off an IP or something like that, you're kind of screwed. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is, and that's also for any console. Like if there's a lot of Nintendo Switch games I haven't purchased because they need some kind of day one download. Capcom, you know, talking about you, and I view it as I see two issues with it. One, I view it as a new form of DRM, and I'm glad that Switch has a lot of homebrew and stuff for it, but it's also unfortunate because that kind of justifies it now. But also, it's an excuse to get in with rockets. There we go. Where's his buddy at? Let's reload real quick. It's also an excuse to release games broken with the intention of patching them later, like Master Chief Collection. And this was a pattern at the time when the game came out. You had this game, you had Batman Arkham Knight, you had Assassin's Creed Unity, I think it was. I mean, those games were released and they were just buggy pieces of crap. They had to be fixed later. It was, and I can't in good conscience to support that business practice. So, and it's unfortunate. So whenever I buy a physical game, I mean, I try to buy it from Amazon or whatnot. I will pop it in and play it, and if it doesn't play without needing any kind of patch, then I won't buy it or I'll return it. I'll rent the game first out of Redbox, or I'll go on the forums like, hey, does this game work without the patch, or does it even have a patch? And if it works fine without a patch, like South Park Fractured But Whole, the game needed a patch, but still boot up and play just fine without it. So that one I purchased. So Mega Man Legacy on Nintendo Switch, half the game content needed to be downloaded, which was utter bullcrap. So I didn't buy that. I mean, I already got every original copy of that, but it'd been nice to have it on the Switch as well. So yeah, I didn't buy that. Bayonetta 1 and 2, Bayonetta, one of the Bayonettas was a download code, so I didn't buy that. I'd rather buy them separately, like physical versions. I'd rather pay more for a physical version that if they have to charge $5 or $10 more to put on a better cart, then I will gladly pay that. I'd rather pay that instead of having to pay, an extra amount to have a bigger micro SD card. And that's how I look at it. And I'm not saying people shouldn't buy digital games, digital games are much bigger than they used to be, and they're the primary way to buy games nowadays. So especially with Game Pass. But I don't know. I just don't believe that a physical version of the game should require a day one download. So, and again, I'm not talking about like just a little patch to fix like a little bug here and there. I'm talking about, like just major functionality or half the content. With some exceptions, of course. Like Doom on the Switch. I still bought that because, it was the multiplayer content that needed to be downloaded. That actually makes logical sense. So, but luckily the Master Chief Collection works perfectly fine now, and I still play it a lot. So, and I didn't play it for a while, but when they announced that they were fixing and patching the game, it was one of those things like, it's been 3 years at this point. I will believe it when I see it. And then some of the beta footage came out, and then it actually patched it, and then eventually added the Halo 1 4v4 playlist. So, yeah, I'm happy with the game. In fact, I'll even get to the point where I will recommend people buying the game, or you actually don't even need to buy it. It's on Game Pass now. So if you got Game Pass, you can just download and play it. So, yeah, it's definitely worth playing now. But it offers a fantastic old and new Halo experience. I mean, I will play this over Halo 5, even though Halo 5's matchmaking works perfectly fine. But trying to make sure I covered all the points I want to cover. I mean, a lot of this video is basically just crapping on the Xbox One console. And me saying that I ended up buying it again. So like I said, it's my love-hate relationship with the Xbox One. I like that the console, works now. I love the IP on the Xbox brand. I love Halo Wars. I love the old Halo games. I eventually picked up Killer Instinct. I like Killer Instinct. I don't play it religiously, but I really like it. I love backwards compatibility on it, especially now that a lot of the older games are playable in 4K and they're adding original Xbox original games. So it's like, I hate this, but I love it for this. But I hate this. It's like eating your favorite food that you know is going to give you diarrhea. That's the Xbox One. It's like, I know it's going to make me feel really crappy later, but I love it now. So what else we got here to talk about? I think I covered everything. So, Halo Master Chief's matchmaking, they took away the voting to kind of make the multiplayer or the matchmaking more stable. Which, it works alright. I think in hindsight, when I first started recording video for this footage, the game wasn't fixed yet. But in hindsight then, I think they should have developed the game strictly as a Halo 2 anniversary game, where it was just Halo 2 content. Because that way they could have focused more resources on the Halo 2 matchmaking, the Halo 2 experience. Knowing what I know now, obviously this would have been my more preferred choice. But at that time, it would have been a smarter idea. Because then they could have focused more resources on remaking more Halo 2 maps for the anniversary. And they've brought over Forge mode in Halo 2 Anniversary, which is ported over from Halo 4's Forge mode. It added a lot more features to it and a lot more cooler stuff. They added the suppress submachine gun that zooms in from ODST and things like that. A red sword is red energy sword along with a regular energy sword, for like custom zombies and stuff like that. They could have added a custom games browser. They also could have added like a Halo 1 pistol in the Forge mode just for fun. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I mean, they could have made that so much better, and people would have never known about the rest of the games being remade and ported over. And as long as the game actually, speaking of this gun, it's actually on this map. The game would have worked fine because it would have been more focused on a single game and single engine, or two engines because of Halo 2 Classic and Halo 2 Anniversary, and would have worked and been perfectly functional. And people would have been super happy with it and would have just ate it the hell up. So that would have been the smarter decision to make at the time, looking back on it then. So, but at least we got the game fixed now. The game's playable now, and it's the best way. It's probably the best way to play a classic Halo experience. And if you don't have an Xbox One, Halo 4 is still playable on the 360. Halo 3 is, but you're not going to find many Halo 3 matches. Halo Reach is. You still got Destiny. So yeah, game's fun. Oh, all right. Let's see if we can drive in and. Oh, dang! Took all the spots. Oh, actually, here we go. I'll drive behind him on the Mongoose. Or the Gun Goose. They do it right. They can actually drive that right into their base where their flag is and take the flag. In fact, I will do it. Oh, crap, I screwed that up. Tipped it over. Yeah, I'm trying to get my friends to play this again, but they're too burnt out on Halo. After the original Master Chief launch, I can't get my friends to hardly play this at all because they pretty much burned them out on it, which I think it did for a lot of people. I think they lost a lot of their core audience when they released that buggy mess. I see you, buddy. There we go. See, I just gotta grab the flag and throw it off the edge. Ooh, no obstacles. Try and get these guys behind me, use them as meat shields. There we go. Got the flag almost to the base.
Enemy flag taken.
This is a good map. I like this map.
Enemy flag down.
Ooh, good snipe. Good snipe. So yeah, a lot of people look at this and they look at Halo 5 and they say, well, it's too bad Bungie doesn't make Halo anymore because they would did a better job. But my reply to that is, you know, look at the reception to Destiny. I mean, they didn't exactly do a really good job with Destiny. And some of that might have been Activision, but it was clear that they were so burnt out on making Halo at the time that I don't think Bungie would have did any better. So, are we winning? Yeah, we're winning.
Defend your flag.
Yeah, let's just run it. Oh. Let's see if we can just run a bunch of people over. You know them coming this way? Oh, there's one guy over there. I don't want to just boost in there. You might have a bunch of people around him. You know what? Since that guy's sniping, we're going to come over here. Oh, crap. Bummer.
Kill their carrier. Protect your flag.
Ooh, good spawn kill.
Your flag taken. Protect your flag. Kill their carrier. Flag reset.
So defend the flag, so that's good. So can we get these guys out of here? I wish they would release more Halo 2 anniversary DLC for this. Ooh, yeah. That was a good plasma grenade. But probably not enough money in it anymore. But now they're focusing on Halo Infinity, I think it is. The one they announced the teaser for. Kind of going back to the Earth tones. And also, I haven't decided if I'm going to do Halo Wars 2 for this series yet. So I only played the beta of Halo Wars 2, and I did not like it at all. So not much to talk about it, really. So it'd be a pretty short video. So I don't own the game. I'd have to renew my Game Pass to play the game. So I don't know. We'll see what I do. I'll probably end up playing it on here or something. Oh crap. Oh crap. Oh crap. Ah, they're gonna get it now.
1 minute left. Kill their carrier.
Really good graphics. I mean, that's one thing they did a really good job with this. It's just the graphics in this game are just amazing. Oh, he tried to sneak up on me.
Flag reset. 30 seconds left.
See, round over. Yeah. Are we still in the lead? No, we're not in the lead. Oh, we never scored that last time. So it's 4 on 6. It's too bad matchmaking doesn't backfill.
Capture the enemy flag and bring it back to score.
Alright, let's see if they'll let me drive. Let me drive, let me drive, let me drive. God, crap. You know what? Screw it, I'm going without you. Let's see if I can pull this off. I used to be able to pull this off with an assault. Oh, crap. Hey, at least that was a distraction. You got me with the homing rockets. If you drive in there just right, you just drive exactly where the bomb site is or where the flag is.
Enemy flag taken.
So. What weapon is he holding? Oh, he's holding the... Is that the beam rifle? Yeah, he's got the beam sniper rifle.
Escort your carrier. Enemy flag taken. Escort your team scored.
Yeah, there we go. Not bad for being handicapped. We got one more round? Yeah, I got one more round.
Defend your flag.
I would really love a custom games playlist or something like that. A custom games playlist or a custom games browser. Because they did such a good job with Forge in Halo Reach, Halo 4, and Halo 2 Anniversary. Especially Halo 2 Anniversary. That, I mean, I would just love a way for people to just show off their community creations that, you know, people can just hop on and play. So that's really unfortunate. They finally added one in Halo 5. It's one of the only things I like about Halo 5. And it took them a couple of years to do so, which we'll get into in the next video.
Your flag taken. Enemy team scored. Round over.
Round 5 of 6. Jeez, how many rounds is there? Well, 6, obviously.
Capture the enemy flag and bring it back to score.
Alright, get in. You need a passenger. Need a passenger. Alright, gotta get in fast before they run down there and grab those rockets. Alright, see if I can do this just right. Oh, a little bit more. He's got those rockets, I gotta be careful. Come on. No, don't get out, you morons. Nah, I didn't hit that right anyway. God, it pisses me off when they get out early. Oh, I see you over there. See if I can sneak up behind him and ambush him. Oh, now he sees me coming. Ah, crap. Another thing about Master Chief Collection I forgot to talk about was the DLC. Any DLC that came out on the previous Halos, you know, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo 4. Like, I don't mean like the ODST DLC, but like the map packs. You know, all that was included with the Master Chief Collection, and even the maps from the PC versions of the game were included, which are actually some of my favorite maps. Like Halo 1's PC versions had some really cool stuff and so on. So, which is another reason why I'm glad I didn't buy Halo 4's DLC, is because, you know, you eventually got it with this game. So, that's really cool. So, I wonder if they're going to do a Halo Reach anniversary. Probably not. They'll probably make Halo Reach 4K compatible on the 10th anniversary on that. But you never know. Actually, a good idea to do would be to take Halo Reach and add that to Master Chief Collection and put that as part of the matchmaking.
1 minute left.
That'd be a pretty good idea. You know, now that the game is fixed. I mean, if it was a buggy mess, that would be a horrible idea. John Woo style.
30 seconds left.
So, oh, there we go. There's the Warthog. Do I still got teammates playing? Yeah, I still got teammates. See if I can get a teammate to spawn next to me. Oh, here we are.
10 seconds.
Will it go to overtime? Probably not. Game over. Oh, I can't drive into the water in the anniversary map? Oh, that sucks. So let's show off. We're going to show off Forge mode real quick before we wrap this video up. So back out. So of course you got your custom games, and this is just, you know, LAN or online custom games, not like a browser or anything like that. You got your Spartan Ops from Halo 4. You got your theater mode of all the games that you play that supports theater. And then of course you got your Forge mode, which you got your Halo 2 Anniversary Forge, because they didn't bring Forge into Halo 3. You got your Halo 3 Forge and your Halo 4 Forge. So just kind of show this off real quick. All the maps that came with it. And then there's a sky Forge map, which is basically just in the air, one in outer space, and then just kind of like a Forge World map here out in the water. So kind of cool. Nothing fancy, nothing big like Forge World and Halo Reach, but still pretty cool. This map here actually can make me look dizzy when I'm playing it on my big screen, if I just look straight down. But we'll show it off here when it loads. I'd love to see this in like VR goggles or something like that. I'd probably puke. Yeah, here we are in this little starts you off on this little platform right here, and that's basically all it is. You just build whatever wherever. Like I'm not pressing anything, and like the environment's kind of moving by. You look it up real close, kind of makes dizzy. But got all your standard tools and stuff like that. You got your suppressed SMG, regular SMG, your AR, battle rifles, whatnot. You got your fixed machine gun turrets, the removable ones. Vehicles, you know, they added brought back the Banshees instead of the Falcons, you know, from Halo 3. So it actually has a little bit of Halo 3 stuff in it. Let's see. A lot of terrain and stuff that they added. So a lot of cool, crazy stuff. Oops. Oops, don't want it highlighted. There we go. Two different energy swords, you know, for whatever game types. So it's kind of cool. Nice little touch there. Something different. And of course, we can find it. Structure. Got all your standard building structures. From Halo Reach and Halo 4. So yeah, that's pretty cool. They did a good job with Forge. It's too bad they don't have like a custom games matchmaking playlist or custom map matchmaking playlist or incorporate some of that stuff. And you never know. Maybe they will. They probably won't. I mean, if the game worked when it came out, they might have eventually. But, I mean, if you can get some friends together and still make some creative stuff. But yeah, in a nutshell, that is Halo Master Chief Collection. That is the Xbox One system. That's my love-hate relationship with the game and the console. It's the equivalent of eating your favorite food, but you might be on the toilet a lot. Luckily, with Master Chief Collection, they got some good Pepto-Bismol for it now. That sums up my feelings on the Xbox One and the Master Chief Collection. So let me know down in the comments what you think about the game. If you like the game, if you hate it, what are your experiences of the game when it came out? Do you want to give the game another chance, or do you still avoid the game to this day? So I'll see you guys in the next video where we're going to talk about Halo 5. Take it easy.